This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome to the next video on Jenkins. Like in the last video, we have seen how do we install Jenkins, and manually how do we just go and configure the Jenkins. So, and in the last video, as I mentioned, the scope of doing the manual things basically is not the way which we generally do. So if you follow the immutable architecture or immutable infrastructure, so that is where we wanted to choose our Jenkins as a so critical system. And even if it goes down as completely, I want to retrieve it from scratch without a kind of losing any kind of a job and configuration. So how do I do that? So one part of it is basically is configuration of the Jenkins. Okay, so I am going to now set up a Jenkins server. So and when I set up the Jenkins servers, initially you get some piece of configurations like, so you need to provide some password and you need to install some plugins, you need to create some admin user. So this kind of setup I want to do automatically. So whenever I'm bootstrapping the Jenkins instance, so how do we do that? So that is what we're going to look into this particular video. Okay, so let me go and launch an instance. Let me take P3 small and I'll go with two instances. I just want to show you one instance manually, how do you do that? And the second instance, so automatically, how do you do that? Okay, so with that, let me just okay, so I'm going to take two Jenkins instances, and these particular instances, I'm going to set up one manually, manually the bootstrapping the Jenkins. So installation and all quite goes probably through your automation or something. I'll just do that manually. But after installation, so what are the configuration we're going to talk about? So that is the area we are focusing on. So the installation, you can put it in a simple shell script, and even that can make the things. Okay, but for now, I want to do the installation directly over the manual steps just by going into the Jenkins website. So let me log into the two Jenkins servers. So on the left side first server, and probably just to have it an understanding, I will go and set the name as Jenkins1 so that we'll have some clarity on which machine I'm executing it. And now I'll go for the second box. All right, so two instances. First, let me go to the first instance, and here I'll go to the Jenkins and go for the download. And in the last video, however, I have shown, so we're just going to copy these steps. And paste it here. And you're going to install Jenkins along with Java. Okay, so I just installed Jenkins. So systemctl enable Jenkins just to start at the time of reboot, and just go for start Jenkins. So now I can grab the IP address directly from here, my public IP. So put it on the browser over 8080. So you know that how to proxy over 80 port and all. Now you see this, it is actually telling you to go and go for this installation wizard. So at this point of time it is booting, but later it will ask you to grab the password of this. It's a boot wizard actually which you're getting. So I want to avoid these particular steps. Okay, if I want to avoid these particular steps, I have to tell to my Jenkins at the time of boot time. So what all it is looking for, I just need to provide that information to that. So install the plugins, and finally you create the user, right? So that particular part, which I'm going to do that with automation on the second instance now. Okay, but how do you do that? Let's take a look. Let's go and configure Jenkins on the second box. And sudo Jenkins and Java. All right, and here also I can go and give systemctl enable Jenkins, and also I can go for start Jenkins. But before starting, so probably, or let me start the Jenkins and show you what is the same thing, whether it is happening or not, and whether it is getting a void or not. We'll take a look. So here, you just go and take this and put it on the browser, 8080. So you are going to get the same thing. Okay, you can see this wizard is coming, right? And I just want to avoid this particular wizard. So probably what I need to do is I need to do some configuration. And in order to do that, so I'm going to keep some scripts inside Jenkins, and that particular Jenkins will load those particular scripts, and it's just gonna load whatever the so content out there, and based on that it just configures in the backend. Okay, so how do we do that is we're going to see now. And so that for doing that, but basically I'm going to go for copying some scripts from which I already kept in one of my Git repository. I will keep this particular repository URL in the YouTube description, so you can go and take a look. So here is a wizard script actually, which I'm going to keep it. So this is one of the init script which avoids that particular installation. Now I'm going to take this and go to cd/var lib Jenkins. So here is a place where you are going to keep the scripts, but you have to create a directory called as init.groovy.d directory. So go inside init.groovy.d and just vim01 is .groovy. Any name just ends with .groovy, and I'm going to keep the content here. So save it. And now what Jenkins does is it's just gonna look for any scripts at the any scripts which is available in init.groovy, and like a system init. So it also goes with like a init. And while booting up the Jenkins, so it actually loads those particular scripts. Okay, and tail-app/var log Jenkins and then jenkins.log. Now if I actually go and do this, my Jenkins is going to just restart, and after that just shows me the information that the wizard has already been configured. Okay. So if I just try to refresh this, yeah, all right, so it is just started. And so just find some exception is coming. I think that is an ignorable error, which is not a big deal. And if I try to refresh here, so you're going to get the direct sign-in form. Okay, that whole wizard has been skipped basically. So with a simple piece of configuration saying that, and that Groovy file is actually saying a very simple thing that it's actually setting up the install state as already so setup is completed. So kind of information it is storing. So that's where it just avoids the wizard. So first step is avoided. Okay. Now it actually, you can log into the admin system just by using the default password which is available in Jenkins. Okay, so ls, so cat secrets, you have secrets and init password. So here is a password which you have. So you can take this particular password and you can log into that particular Jenkins using that. I can go to admin user and this is a password. So which it just uses the same password at the time of bootstrapping, right? So you can just use that. Or else, now let's say if I want to so change my username and password kind of thing, so then I can go here and just choose this piece of code which will set my username and password as admin and admin123. And also you can pass the system environment variables, and that you can pick the environment variables out there as well. Okay, so EAM init groovy.d and 02 admin.groovy, so admin user.groovy or whatever it is, the name is okay. Just keep that. So again, restart your Jenkins. So the restarting will go with loading that script once again, and it just loads the username and password as well. Okay, and so here, yeah, it's just loading the 02 admin script, and yeah, so and also it is printing information that it is creating an admin user, so which is available in here. So creating println, it's actually printing on the screen. All right, and if I go and try to refresh now, I'll be able to log into this particular Jenkins system now with admin, and the password is admin123. Okay, so sign in. I'm able to log in. So you can read the password from different sources as per your requirement. All right, so you don't need to really hard code that username and password inside the code. You can always go with taking that as an environment variable. Now, if I go with the new item, so probably I don't see an option of a pipeline job. Like let's say my requirement is a pipeline job. So ideally I have to go to the manage Jenkins and click on install plugins and doing that. And that also comes as a script. Now I have another script. So by the way, this script has been copied from different sources from the internet. I just tuned it as per my requirement, or so for the demonstration purpose, whatever is needed, I just did that. So plugins dot groovy. So this is the thought script I'm making and keeping it here, and again restart. Just do that, and at the time of installation or at the time of bootstrapping, it will go for you see this, the plugins are getting installed. Okay, now you will see that, yeah, it came. So it's actually going to come as a plugin. And all I just mentioned is there is a I think workflow aggregator is a plugin name, if I'm not wrong. So that is the one which is available for pipeline jobs. Okay, so I just given that. So it has a lot of dependencies. It is just trying to install all those particular plugins here, okay, as a dependencies to install the main one. Once after it is done, your system will be up, and yeah, so actually there is some problem which is stopping Jenkins is coming, and actually it is going to restart, it seems, because you just installed the plugins, or the code, yeah, might be went with a restart required exception. So they just intentionally did the Jenkins restart. Okay, so that's the reason it went with the Jenkins, and now your Jenkins is fully up and running. Now I can go back to the Jenkins, and if I just try to refresh once again, okay, so I can go with admin123. So just click on sign in. Now you go for the new item, so I would be expecting a pipeline job. All right, so this is how generally, not only these, basically anything you name it, like, end of the day, Jenkins, if you want to customize, when you set up a new Jenkins, you'll be going and adding in some list of plugins out there and doing some configuration by going into manage Jenkins anywhere. So it all can be done by those init Groovy scripts, and what all our requirement, so we can write the Groovy code and you can keep it up there, so that the Jenkins can boot up with the desired configuration, with the desired configuration as expected. Okay, even though now I lost the complete Jenkins instance, if I just copy these particular scripts and so boot it up, and I get the complete Jenkins. So the same way, in the next video we'll try to see, like, how to create the jobs also automatically, the desired jobs also automatically, and what is the best practice around that. We'll try to take a look. So when you create a Jenkins, like let's say I need 10 jobs, and those 10 jobs will be created automatically. Okay, so and how do you do that? So basically the next video which will show is how to create jobs with how do you create jobs with Jenkins Bootstrap script, okay, Groovy script, okay. And so it's also a simple code which is available. I'll just keep it out there and I get the job, and I'll get the jobs basically. From one job, I'll try to do the creation of other jobs. But how do we do that? So we'll take a look on the next video. So today's video, so we'll just try to configure the Jenkins bootstrapping with the code. All the desired configuration can be done through the code, so that the replication can be much easier in Jenkins. So we are doing that with Groovy INIT, okay, INIT scripts. All right. So see you in the next video. Bye.